Okay, this problem is from Geometry Chapter 8. It's page 82, and it's trying to find the area of Minnesota. So the first one asks you to solve each problem using the map of Minnesota. Be sure to simplify each problem and show your work. So they want you to estimate the area of Minnesota using two polygons. And they give you a picture of this map over here. For the sake of size, I'm just going to make a giant copy of this, which I've got here, and I'm going to show you how to divide it up into different polygons. And I got to zoom out just a little bit so we can get all the numbers on the screen. In fact, I should just ditch this. Okay, so there's my map of Minnesota, and you can see some of the measurements on here. And it's a little bit easier to see this now when it's blown up to gigantic size. But if you're trying to estimate the size of this, you've got to cut this up into shapes that you know how to find the area for. So obviously there's no equation you can use to just like plug in the area of Minnesota, or plug in all the numbers from Minnesota and just figure out the area. But if you take this whole thing, you can kind of cut it up into different pieces. Like, and this is where you have to use estimation. So let's say I go like this. Here, in fact, I'll use this number right here, or this line right here, because it's a nice, line to use. I can cut Minnesota up into a box like this, right? So I'll erase this line. So can you see that box? And if this was just a rectangle that looked like this, can you tell me what the area of that rectangle is going to be? Well, if you think about it, the length of it is how long? 400. And the width of it is going to be 180. So this is just a rectangle that's 400 by 180, and if you multiply those together, you're going to end up with, I need a calculator. Can someone toss me a calculator real quick? Sure. Going old school. Look, the fancy calculators we've got. This thing's amazing. 400 times 180 ends up being 72,000. So this whole thing, the area of that is 72,000. And now all you have left is kind of a triangle right here, right? So that triangle is about, and this is where you have to use some estimation to figure out all the different numbers. You've got a triangle that kind of looks like this. If you kind of look at the height of it, if you had to estimate about how far is that distance? About 200, exactly. So I have a triangle here, kind of looks like this. Its base is about 200. And if I had to measure its height from here to here, about how much is that? Well, it's kind of hard to figure out, but if you look up here, from here to here is a little bit more than 80, so maybe this is like 100. And so this distance all the way from the rest of that is probably about 190. So this whole thing is probably a height of 190. So the area for this one is equal to 1/2 base times height, and the base in this one is 200, and the height for this one is going to be 190. So you multiply that together. I'll do 0.5 times 200 times 190. Ends up being about 1,900. Or 19,000, sorry. So the area for this whole thing is 19,000. And so to find the area of the total, what do? You add, subtract, multiply, or divide these two areas. Not divide, because you're not trying to cut this up. You're trying to combine the two of them together. So combining is the same thing as addition, exactly. So you take 72,000 plus 19,000. This 0, 0, 0. That's all the same. 1, 1, 91,000. This is about 91,000 miles, square miles. And I know for all of you math teachers out there, I did not use units the entire time. I'm sorry. But that's in general how you find the area of Minnesota using two polygons. Now the next one's going to ask you to go do it with 4, so you're going to probably cut different polygons. Like if you look here, you got this piece down here that you probably could use, but you also want to cut out maybe some more of the pieces that are here, so you may want to find the area of this little tiny rectangle and then subtract it from the hole that you had for that rectangle. So you want to basically go through and kind of like estimate things. And this is not supposed to be a perfectly accurate answer. It's supposed to be an estimate. So use that to figure that out. Does that make sense?